we really can't comprehend all the things that God has in store.
We originally went to hear about the St. Louis mission trip. You said, first, let me go through the Germany mission trip. And I was like, okay, that's no big deal. We'll sit here and wait for that while we eat. As soon as you started talking about it, it's like something lit up within me. Like, I've never had a feeling so clear from God speaking to me. Like, I started getting like all emotional. Like, you were just talking about Germany mission trip. Like, nothing directed at me. I had no intentions of going on this, and just like immediately drawn to it. And all I could think of was like, I can make this work. Like, I can find a way to get us there.
We celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary last year. We were looking for something to do. We're not cruise people. We're not resort people. We heard about the mission trip going to Germany. We were ready.
To learn and grow myself and to like stretch my faith and to really put into practice the things that I've been learning all my life so that they're not just stagnant and I'm not just hearing and learning, but I'm going out and I'm sharing the gospel too.
Prepare to go until God tells you to stay. It's going to be a rare situation where God is going to say, no, don't go tell people about me. The last thing that Jesus says before he ascends is, you will be my witnesses to the ends of the earth. And if that's the last thing Jesus said, like mic drop, finished, that's probably something important.
So we essentially learned this sort of curriculum of evangelism that was called Seasons. It was just each stage of evangelizing and sort of building up a church community in the city where we were. We learned that our first week, and then we had a couple of these one-week groups that would stop in, and we would sort of train them up and lead them in that same curriculum to try to take what they learned back home with them or wherever they were being sent after that.
So when we got there, instead of preparing meals and kind of being in the background, we were right at the forefront with the students. We went to the same meetings that they went to, heard the same teaching that they did.
And then in the afternoon, we were able to follow up and take action on what we learned about, which is, you know, the step where I feel like we miss a lot in our church. We put in, what, like 20,000 steps in an afternoon? So we walked all over the place and tried to have conversations with German people.
Walking up to somebody, sitting on a picnic blanket, sitting at a bench, or walking and talking in a museum or a restaurant. It's taking advantage of every opportunity that you have to share the gospel.
We had an opportunity to learn how the IMB goes about doing missions, and that was really enlightening for each of us to see where we fit in a huge plan. We were a small part of that plan, but just how the puzzle pieces fit together. We prayer walked several different cities and were able to engage people along the way in conversations people that we met on the street, share the gospel, pray with them. It was really an awesome experience.
This summer was 2 months of seeing God work in, through, and around us.
The first time I shared gospel with someone, we asked them if they went to church, because there's a ton of beautiful churches in Germany. So it's super easy to bring up the conversation. She straight up asked me and the high school girl I was with if we went to church. And so it was a super easy bridge on how to get to gospel from there. So it was just super cool to see the little doors that God can open without you having to do much work.
There was one time that we were in a park. We were just going around praying for people, and it was actually this lady a few feet away. Her son had been going through a lot of mental struggles. He tried to kill himself multiple times. It was just a very dark, sad story, and we prayed with her over that. And then a couple minutes later, her son walked up over by us, and she was like, hey, come meet these people. And we got to talk to her son and pray over her son. And then that led to her son following us and getting to be with us for the rest of the night. One of the missionaries we were with is still meeting up with that man to talk with him and pray over him and these things going on in his life. So that was such a chain reaction of events that, again, only God could do.
God definitely taught me the need for being on mission even in our own community. We're traveling across the world to talk to these people because we think they need Jesus, but there's so many in our own community that need him. It just taught me that it doesn't have to be scary to start that conversation with somebody. I always was like, oh, what if they shut me down, or what if it doesn't go well? But it's it doesn't matter. Everyone deserves to know what the gospel is.
Just how simple and easy it can be sharing the gospel. I've kind of used it with some of my classmates, just having normal conversations, but just putting those gospel seeds in there.
And we've got neighbors all around us that we've never really spoken to very much about the good news.
I'm just beginning to learn to look and really see the opportunities.
Something that I really learned was to be more of a doer of the word and to take the knowledge that I have and really apply it, and that I'm not too young to share the word.
On mission, you're truly spending every day and every moment thinking about God and being around God's people and seeing how God acts on it. So while you're doing his mission, you're also being I'd say super fed during it. The whole time, you're just being charged up, and you definitely came back home with a new outlook on our faith in a much more deep sense.
God has placed you in and around a group of people, and that is your mission field. That is your sphere. That is your coworkers, that is your family members, that is your friends, that is the cashier at your local grocery store. Consider who your mission field is. Pray for your mission field.
I think the American church makes it more complicated than it actually is. It's way simpler than a lot of us, I think, make it out to be. I shared the gospel for the first time while I was in Germany. Just because I saw it kind of modeled out, it's okay, it is literally walking up to someone, learning about that person, making conversation with that person, loving that person. Out of that love, the gospel comes out naturally.
Take the leap of faith. God will work in so many ways that you didn't even know you needed. So it's worth it, just go.